It's the mental stuff, it's the mindset stuff, it's the consistency, the motivation, the why do you want to do it, the grit, the discipline, the showing up for yourself. All of those things are the stuff that really is what makes coaching impactful in somebody's life, because it's not about the plan.
If you've been watching, you know that I take my ingredients very seriously, but there are 3 companies that I have found that I absolutely love. Check the description for discount codes. Hello, welcome to my show. My name is Adrienne. This is a show where I interview different people who have inspired me to live a healthier life. Today, I am interviewing Coach Bronson. You will know him because you'll see him speaking at every good conference. He also is the author of 3 books. He has a coaching program, a YouTube channel. He is everywhere, and there's a reason, because he is out helping people. Thank you so much for coming to my show.
Thanks for having me on, Angie, and I appreciate it. This is fun.
You, I have watched so much of your content, but the one thing that I haven't seen in a long time is your story. Like, how did you
Mm.
become so wise? What brought you here? The way that you explain things is so different, and it's not the same as what everybody else says. So how did you get here?
Mhm. Well, I'm actually glad to hear that, because sometimes I wonder if I've tried to be a little unique in how I relate information. So I'm glad that somebody thinks I am. There's a lot of, I'll just say let's start here. I'm a coach first. I'm not an influencer first. I'm not a social media personality first. My experience and the message, the voice that I've developed over the past 12 plus years is from coaching. So when I'm trying to relay information, it's with the intent of helping people understand and apply. So there's a lot. I feel like I spend a lot of time trying to provide information, not just for information's sake, but because information is useless if you can't take action on it. So it's about what are the things that are important about the information, and how do we actually do something with it. That's what makes the difference. So I think that might be part of what sets me a little bit different than a lot of people. I don't do things for the algorithm. I don't do things just to uh, grow my following and that kind of stuff, right? What can people actually use and do with the information I'm providing? How I got into this, we don't have forever, right? We only have a little bit of time. So I'll try to be quick with this. And basically, my story starts in my mid to late 30s. I was the kind of normal where a lot of people are: overweight, 70 pounds overweight, sedentary, not doing much with myself, not going anywhere. I had fallen into a sense of complacency and apathy. I was happy where I was. I had a good job. I was making good money. What's there to worry about? I was faced with the realization that physically and health wise, I was not in a good place, and decided to do something about that. So it took me a process of learning and getting to a point where there was a level of progress through fitness, going backwards. Even though I had a great fitness routine, a great fitness lifestyle, I was doing all the things. I owned a CrossFit gym. I was a coach. I was in great shape. I could do all the things. My health started going backwards again. So my body composition changed. My health did not improve. I want everybody to hear that. I lost fat. I gained muscle. My overall health did not improve. I got hurt more often. I still had IBS and urgent bowels. I still was depressed. I still had acne issues. I still had all of these things. I was still lactose intolerant. There was a lot of issues in my life and things that were controlling what I could do every day, that had nothing to do with how much fat I had on my body. And when I realized that there was more to it, then I started playing around with nutrition. That's when I found the carnivore diet, and then everything changed. It took me about 90 days to turn a lot of things around and get moving in the right direction. And it was within the year from there, pretty much everything had kind of flipped completely 180. And that whole process of realizing that I needed to make a change to improve my health and quality of life, to finding the right combination of fitness and nutrition, took me about 8 years. And that was about 13 years ago. I'll be 52 next week. So it's not a short-term thing. And that's a part of my story I want people to understand is this isn't something where I went carnivore, I found the magic pill, and then 60 days later, everything was great in my life. You know, and we tend to social media tends to present all of these things as magic bullets, magic pills. You just do this and everything's easy. That's bullcrap. It is a process, and the process takes time, and the process takes trial and error, and the process takes a willingness to make mistakes or learn from things that didn't work. I'm going to rephrase that. There are no mistakes. There are things that work and things that don't work. That's it. As long as you're trying to do things in order to improve your health, it is impossible to make a mistake because there's no right or wrong. There is effective or not effective. And if it didn't work, then you just know, okay, that didn't work. I'm going to try something else. It's not a mistake, it's an experiment. You can't make a mistake in that process. So blaming that opens up the door to guilt and shame and all these other things. I'm a horrible person. I can't do this right. Like, that's not part of the equation. If you're trying to do better for yourself, that's all that matters. So that's a quick summary of kind of where I'm at. And in that process, like I said, owning a gym, starting to do health coaching, fitness coaching first, moved into the nutrition side. And then over the past few years, starting to realize that the nutrition and the fitness are really easy. I can give anybody a meal plan that's going to work for them. I can give anybody a fitness plan that's going to work for them. And I can guarantee you that it will work for them. 99% of the time, it's them working the program that doesn't happen. It's the mental stuff, it's the mindset stuff, it's the consistency, the motivation, the why do you want to do it, the grit, the discipline, the showing up for yourself. All of those things are the stuff that really is what makes coaching impactful in somebody's life, because it's not about the plan. Anybody can give a plan. A coach is going to help you stick to the plan and evaluate the plan and make sure the plan is working and make sure that you have the right plan, the best plan that's going to help you actually implement things you can sustain over the long term. That's where the coach comes in. And that's the stuff that I'm really focusing on now.
And that's what your current book that's coming out later this
Yes,
year is about?
absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about what are the things that really matter in the process, the things that we're looking at when we have this absolute truckload of information, truckloads of information that's out there, and everybody saying all of these different things. Many times it's very conflicting. One person says this thing, and then somebody else who we think we're respecting and listening to what they have to say says the exact opposite of what this other person who we respect and we like what they have to say. Now, what do I do? Because two people that I'm listening to that I've been taking all of this advice from are now saying opposite things. How do I deal with that? What am I supposed to do? And then there's all of the science nerds out there who are breaking down every scientific mechanism and minute detail of some super obscure thing in the human body that we should be focusing on. And now I have a list of 80 different things that I'm supposed to learn about, all these mechanisms, and figure out what's the best way to activate or not activate or optimize or improve the efficiency of or whatever it is through all of these supplements and protocols and certain things I need to eat and herbal thing. It's ridiculous.
It's
So how do we
exhausting.
take? It's exhausting, right? And the whole idea of this journey, this process of improving your quality of life, is to reduce complexity and reduce stress. Everybody's so focused on all these scientific things because here's the thing: in the market space of health and fitness, if you're not different, you don't sell. And everybody has to find their niche. And that is an easy way to do that, is to find some obscure scientific item that nobody else is talking about and then make that become the most important thing. That if you do this, you're going to increase your longevity by 15%. If you do this, you're going to reduce your risk of heart disease by 20%. Like, everybody's got their thing, whether it's leptin resistance, insulin resistance, gut biome, MTHFR. The list goes on and on. And I talked to somebody the other day who was talking about supplements that you can take in order to improve your body's ability to filter out toxins in the air that you breathe. That the number one difference between people who live long lives and people who don't is their body's ability to filter out toxins in the air, that their lungs' ability to filter out toxins in the air that they breathe. I'm like, have we gone that, like, this is really what we're worried about right now? We're not talking about, are you eating enough? Are you getting enough nutrient density? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you building muscle? Are you moving your body consistently? Are you learning how to manage your stress load? Like the basics of what we need to function as human beings, nobody's talking about that stuff. And that's what the book is about. That's the stuff that makes the most impact.
I do think it's funny. I bet our ancestors are looking down at us going, "They need to
Yeah.
study to know that they need to go outside and breathe fresh air and get some sun." I mean, what's
Right.
wrong with
Like,
people hiding inside?
yeah. Oh gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah.
Is
So the good.
Is the book gonna help? Is there anything in the book for I'm so guilty of this, everybody's got their thing, their sardine fast, their lion
Oh,
diet, they're all the different things, right? And you're like, "This will finally fix me." And then every single time I get 40, maybe even 60 days in, and then I go, "This is exhausting."
yeah.
And so how do you get over that hump? Because at that point, your brain just kinda gets the "F and so is there some brain work there at that point to make you successful to keep going? Or maybe the whole point here is don't even do those things. Do something sustainable every single day.
Yep.
What's your experience there?
First of all, you don't need to be fixed. You're not broken. Okay. So that's the first thing we got to understand is don't label yourself as being broken. You have a metabolism you haven't been supporting. Just support your body. That's all it is. It's just support your body and your body will respond. Your body, your relationship with your body is exactly like the relationship you have with anyone else in your life. If you don't pay attention to it and you don't give it what it needs, the relationship's going to not be well. It's going to be a bad relationship. And many of us unknowingly have developed a bad relationship with our body. Okay. This journey, you may have heard me say this. I think when we did, you were on my video, we recorded a video recently, and I think I might have said this then. We're on this journey from the day we're born to the day we die. The only difference is our awareness and interaction engagement in the process. That's the only difference. For many years, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, for many of us, we weren't engaged in the process of our lives from a health and fitness, from a quality of life perspective, right? We were just kind of going along with the flow, doing all the things we kind of thought we needed to do, not really paying attention to, is it working? Am I living the life that I want to live? There was no awareness of our reality in that space. So now that we're aware, if you're listening to this video, you are now at a point where you're starting to engage in this process. So building that relationship and repairing the relationship of how you are interacting and supporting what your body wants to do for you. Your body's working for you. Your body, this is the thing. This is why you're not broken. Your body's doing exactly what it is designed to do. Your body is doing everything it possibly can to keep you alive and functioning. Okay. Your lack of knowledge or lack of engagement in the process has made your body have to do things it doesn't want to do or that it has to work extra in order to keep you alive. That's where the dysfunction is. It's the things that we have been or have not been doing that's kind of messing up their relationship. So in order to fix that, it's not a drastic 75 hard. It's not a sardine fast. It's not a 4 week or 6 week program of priming and feasting and fasting, right? It's none of these things because all of those things are short term. They cause more stress on your body than your body already has a lot of stress it's dealing with. Why are we doing these drastic extreme things? Okay. Pick something that is sustainable that you can build on, that you can do long term, that is focused on the goal of building and improving your relationship with your body and building how well your body can take care of you. That's what we're looking for. How well can your body take care of you? What are you doing to make it easy for your body to do what it already wants to do? And if we start thinking about it from that perspective, we understand that it takes time to build trust with your body. That's what you're trying to do. I want to trust that my body's doing as much as it possibly can for me. So I have to do as much as I possibly can for it. That takes time. You can't do that overnight. Okay. So you need a body of evidence, and that takes time to do, consistently performing and doing the things that you know you need to do to improve your function. As you do that, everything kind of exponentially starts going from there. You start building that trust. Your body starts responding. You start being able to do more things. You have more energy. Some of the health issues you may have are going away. Your hormones start balancing. You start getting stronger. Then you start experiencing more things in your day to day life now because your body's functioning. Now you can do more things. I can engage in the life and the environment around me. I'm losing body fat. I'm gaining muscle. I'm starting to look and feel better about myself. All of these things come from the root of understanding it's about the function of your body, not trying to lose weight.
Yeah, I have been trying. I mean, it's no wonder my body doesn't trust me. I don't mean to do this, but I'm definitely trying to, I don't want to use the word cheat. I'm trying to hack my body to do what I want it to do. And
Mhm.
then, but if you think of it differently, like in the beginning of me doing this lion diet, I was full, I was happy, I was nourished. So, what do you say about like 40 days in, some of the food addiction
Mhm.
starts? Like, I start having cravings for other things,
Yeah.
and I tried to ignore it for a few days, I tried to journal it out, but to me, it sounded like my body was actually telling me, "Listen, I need more than beef." But some people would call that food addiction.
Yeah, so I would say in my experience, I'm not a scientist on this fact, and I know there's a lot of studies and experts out there who would say that listen to your body. If you're craving this, that means your body needs this nutrient, right? 9 times out of 10 in my experience, cravings are not your body, they're your mind. And instead of trying to ignore them, you should embrace them and understand them because you can never work through them if you avoid them. Understanding where they come from, what is the trigger, why is it happening, then you can start working through what is the cause of that, where is it coming from, and dealing with those issues so that either you recognize this is not anything bad. I feel like I want this. Okay, great. There's a two layers there. Understanding the emotional, mental aspect of it, but then also looking at, hey, why am I being so strict? Why did I choose a line? I feel great on it, but I felt great on it for 40 days. 41 days hits, and now I feel like, hey, I would really like this X, Y, or Z. Okay, what happens? Here's a question: do I know what happens if I have X, Y, or Z? If I've never done it, if I haven't done it since I did the lion diet, maybe I should try it. Let me try it and see what happens. I feel like crap. That was not a good choice. I should probably not do that anymore. Now you know. Now you have an option. The next time you have that craving, okay, now you have to say, why do I have this craving? Is there a reason that makes sense? If it doesn't make sense, if it's an emotional reaction, now I got to figure out, okay, what's the emotion? What's the trigger? That's a whole nother discussion, being aware of the emotional triggers and habit loops and that kind of stuff. But if it's something that, hey, you know what? I just felt like I want this today. But I also know the last time I had this, it did not do well for me. Now you have a choice. And here's the thing, every single time, it's a choice. Every single time, because you have to pick it, excuse me, pick it up and put it in your mouth. Didn't happen. You didn't black out and wake up with something with a Pop Tart in your mouth, right? Whatever it may be. Okay. So there is no falling off the wagon. There is no I wasn't the situation caused me to, right? I went to a party, I was here, I was there, whatever it was, and I felt like I needed no. You use that as an excuse to do something that you wanted to do because the emotional attachment to that food was greater than your emotional reason for not eating it. And that's where we get into motivation and understanding why, what is it you want in your life? What are the things you don't want in your life? Because often this is another trap of the weight loss thing. Many times when we focus on weight loss and we're not looking at the bigger picture of why we really want to make these changes, we think weight loss is going to solve our problems. And weight loss isn't an emotional decision. I want to lose weight. Okay, great. What do I need to do to lose weight? All right. There's no emotion attached to that. So when it comes time to not eat the donuts that Sally brought into the office, or it comes time to go to that Christmas party and not eat the apple pie, right? Or whatever it may be, or I'm on vacation. Now I'm in vacation mode. Calories don't count on vacation, whatever, all the different sayings that people have. When those times happen, weight loss has no impact because you think I can just work it off. I can just go burn. I'll walk an extra 5,000 steps this week, or I'll go do an extra half hour cardio a couple times this week, whatever it may be. Right? We have this idea of there's a flexibility in what we can do because there's no actual impact. If we can tie our goals to how well we're living our lives, if we can tie our goals to our identity, I cannot live the life that I want to live if I do this. It's not about weight loss. Why do you want the weight loss? What is the driving cause? I want to lose weight because I don't feel good about myself when I'm at this weight. Okay. How is the weight change going to make you feel better about yourself? Well, I'll look a certain way. Why does looking a certain way mean something to you? Well, because if I look a certain way, then I'll feel like I'm in the kind of shape that um, is going to allow me to do things and set a good example for my kids. Okay. Why is it important that you set a good example for your kids? Well, because I didn't have one growing up, and I want to make sure that my kids see their parent who is engaged in their life, physically capable, and doesn't have limitations and is willing to work hard through a challenge. Okay. Why is it important that your kids see that? Well, because I want my kids to emulate that as they grow up. I don't want them to have the same challenges. Dig. You're going to get to a point where, for me, that's one of them. For the kids, it's like you get to a point where you can't talk about it without wanting to you get teared up, you get mad, you get angry, you get emotional. There's some passion behind what you're talking about. If you're not getting passionate about why you want to do it, you're going to have the cravings, and when you do have the cravings, you're going to cave into them.
So when people are working with you, are they doing a lot of journaling or?
Everyone's different. Usually, yes, I like to have people journal, um, and track. And there's a lot of things that I like to have people do that are kind of opposite what everybody in the car. You don't have to track. You don't have to work out. You don't have to journal. Just
Yeah.
eat meat till you're full. Well, sorry guys, that is bullcrap.
Mm,
Because here's the deal: if you're trying to make a change, if you don't know what you're changing, and you
mhm.
don't know why you're changing it, and you don't know what you were doing before you changed it, and you don't know what the change was and how it impacted what you're trying to do, then you don't know what changes to make down the road. Like you have to have information. You have to track. You have to understand why and when and how things are happening. So that includes journaling. That includes tracking. It may not need to happen all the time, and the level to which you journal and track isn't always the same. I have some people. I have a book on Amazon you can get. It's a log. It's got a page for every day. 356 pages of you could go in and journal every single day if you wanted to, and write every little thing down that you possibly could if you wanted to spend 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day journaling. I have another one that's a little bit smaller. That's like a workout log with a little bit of journal, and it has simple things like you circle the happy face if you're feeling good today. You circle in the frowny face if you're feeling bad today, right? Those types of things. There's another worksheet I'm actually working on now, which I believe actually I included in some of the download materials of the book coming out in September. And it's a mini journal. It's basically write down just the date and time, what is going on right now, and what is the feeling that you're having. And I like to give that to people whenever they have a craving, whenever they have an urge to do something they know they probably shouldn't do for their health. I'm
So put
feeling
that
like
thing right on the fridge.
yeah, I'm feeling like I want a pint of Ben and Jerry's right now. Okay, write it down. It's Monday. At 5:30. I just got home from work. I'm feeling stressed. The kids just tracked in a bunch of mud into the house, whatever it may be, like whatever. And then here's what I'm feeling. Here's what I want to do. Track it. Something as simple as that. It doesn't take 15, 20, 30 minutes of meditation and om in a corner somewhere to do that, right? It
Put your
takes
feet in the grass.
yeah, right? It takes 3 minutes to just sit back and think about, "Hey, wait a second. This is what's going on. This is why I have this craving." Now, just doing that helps you create awareness, and you're more likely not to do it because you've identified it instead of reacting to it immediately. So, if you take that 1 minute, 3 minutes, whatever it is to identify and detail what is the craving and where is it coming from, that by itself is going to reduce your chance of actually reacting to that craving, right? So that's a great step. And over time, you got this sheet, you start filling that out. Over time, when you do have longer periods of time of self-reflection, meditation, whatever you want to have, maybe you just get maybe you get 30 minutes every Saturday to just kind of sit down, and you can look at this sheet where you've started putting these things down. You can start looking at what are the things that are happening the most often, and when am I most vulnerable to caving to cravings. And that helps you kind of put patterns together and start thinking about, hey, wait a second, this is something I need to look into. What is it about when I come home that every day I come home I'm feeling stressed and I want to cave into a craving? Is it something at home that I need to fix, or change about what's going on when I get home, or prepare myself differently for what to expect when I get home, or do something the day before. So there's different ways to look at all of these different things, right? So um, understanding that there is no one way to fix anything. There's no one way to change or tweak or control your environment. Everybody's got a different thing going on. But if you don't have the data, you can't figure out and come up with something that's going to work.
I recently rearranged my entire house, got a new
Hmm.
couch, decluttered. I spent like 4 days doing it. I turned my phone off. My
Yeah.
life's so much better now.
Yes, right? It's little stuff like that. I was watching a video the other day, and I don't even know what the context of the video was. I just caught, like, a clip of it, and the guy was like, "Think about this. When you clean your car, it drives better. When you
Yeah.
clean your office, you work better," right? When you
When your
control
bedroom is clean, you sleep better.
Yeah, when you control the environment around you and make it be something that is pleasant and supports what you're trying to do from a mental health perspective and an identity perspective and an environment perspective, we call it feng shui, right? If you can feng shui your life in a way,
Yes.
right? Everything is better, and you haven't physically changed much. You've tidied things up. You've reduced some stress. You've taken some of the thought processes out of things. So little things like that can make a huge difference.
I've heard you guys talk too about the scale, and I feel like you talk about the scale differently. So many people are like, "Throw the scale away. It's a piece of garbage. It's meaningless." But you guys have a different approach. What is
Yeah,
that?
the scale never lies. It's information. The problem isn't with the scale. The problem is with your perception of the information on the scale. I saw another video recently, a guy who does kind of mindset work, and he speaks a lot of different places. He says, you know, let's use you, Adrian. If you had purple hair, right? If let's see, you don't have purple hair, right? You have blondish, dirty blonde, light brown hair, right?
Yep.
If I came up to you and I started yelling at you, saying, "Adrian, you got the worst purple hair. It's horrible. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. I can't imagine you would have purple hair." You kind of look at me like, "Okay, whatever," right?
I like my
You're still
purple.
you're you're still who you are. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
The words that I said didn't impact you at all, right? If I came up to you and I said, "I don't like your light brown or dirty blonde or whatever hair you have," right? Does it make a difference? It's a fact. It's true. You have that color hair, but you're still you. Nothing has changed, right? So the scale isn't lying. That's how much you weigh. What are you doing about it? Okay.
It
Does it mean anything about you as a person? No, it is literally how much force you're exerting on the
Mhm.
floor. That's all it
Yeah.
is. You are not your weight. So I understand the wording of throw the scale away, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. Okay. It does act as a marker or metric that could be included in the holistic view of how your body is changing. Now, it is one number that doesn't mean a lot without a whole bunch of other numbers to go with it in context. Okay. And that's where the issue, that's why people say throw it away, because we get hung up on the scale when the scale number is 1% of the total context of things we should be looking at for our health. Less than 1%, I would say. But it does fall in there, right? If somebody's lost 50 pounds, my story, 70 pounds, your story, you gained 100, then had to lose it all back again, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's a big number. That means something. Okay. So it's not completely irrelevant, but it is not where we should be focusing. And I think that's what the overall message is. So, another example of this concept of we add value to things. I don't speak I used to speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish anymore, because I stopped speaking it and totally forgot how to say anything. If I said something to you that was nasty and ugly and demeaning in another language that you didn't speak, would it mean anything to you? If I came up to you and, in
Like, high
Portuguese,
five. Cool.
right? Right? If I came up to you in Portuguese and said, "I think you're ugly," would that
Yeah.
mean anything to you?
No.
The meaning of the words being spoken are exactly the same as if I said in English, "I think you're ugly." Why do those words impact you more than the others? Because you let them. Okay? They are not they don't mean they're not true. They're a person's perception of you. So we add value to things many times based on what other people are saying, not from ourselves. So that's just something to think about. Perception and the things that we value in many cases are again tied to belief systems. And again, this is where the mindset stuff comes in. How were we brought up? What were the things we were told were important as kids? You know, some people were told that it was very important that they be a certain size, right? Some
Mhm.
people were told that they didn't have value because they were overweight as kids. Some people, not even indirectly, some people, this is the really hard thing about being a parent, knowing that I've completely screwed my kids up, just like my parents completely screwed them up, me up, just like their parents screwed them. Like we're human beings. Every single person in the world has childhood trauma on some level. Okay, so everybody needs to realize that, and y'all need therapy and go get it. Okay, so where was I going
I
with that?
completely agree. I don't think I know
Yeah,
anybody who doesn't, and maybe your trauma is that your dad told you that you can't wear red one day and it hurt your feelings forever.
right. Exactly, exactly. And it's really insidious because it's simple stuff that we don't even think about, things that we did indirectly. You know, we may have a sibling who was always active in school and sports, and they were always fit. And we were more of the I'm going to stay at home and play video games, or I was on the chess club, or I was in drama, whatever it may be, and I didn't do that. But because that child that was active in sports had the parents go to all the events, was always doing the training, was always going to practices, got all the attention and the accolades. Now we felt less, and it just sent us into a spiral of never feeling good enough, even though it was indirect. Our parents loved us just as much, but because of the scenario that we grew up in, it just never felt that way. Right. So
Yeah.
then that's a whole nother mind game, right? Then that's also different if I'm the oldest child versus the second or the third child. There's a whole nother
Yes.
dynamic there. Like, so all of these things build into how we view the world, which establishes our expectations of events and our expectations of how we interact with the world. So then we act on those expectations, which 99 times out of 10 reinforces our perception of the
Right.
world. And then it's a continuing loop. At some point in time, we have to realize that we have to change this in order to change reality. Until we change how we think about the world, we can't change how we interact with the world. Until we change how we interact with the world, the reality of the world, of how the world relates to us, will never change.
Well, I'm really excited to get your
Yeah.
book in my hands now and stop
So
going in the
it's all
same
that
loop.
stuff.
I
Yep.
really like the idea, and when I do my best, it's just me nourishing myself. And
Hmm.
and my why is autoimmune. Autoimmune, I guess I'm lucky because if I eat something not lion, I get inflamed, I get blood sugar, I get, so
Hmm.
I don't want to be sick, but there is deep to the kids. I don't want to show my kids me in the corner eating sugar-free jello by the buckets. I don't want
Yeah.
them to emulate that. So
Yeah.
that's very
Yeah.
interesting.
You know, I'm good. No, good. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I do want to ask you some specifics about your type of plan just because you're the expert. And, I have done a lot of working out, but mine was I would just run and then I would go
Hmm.
to the gym and like play around on the machines, but I never had any direction. I finally hired a coach this year and then I learned about
Yay.
like hers was, Monday was this type of day, Tuesday was like, let's say arms, legs, full body. And then in between, I was doing a 30, 30, 30. I called it 30 squats, 30 lunges, 30 sit ups, 30 push ups, and a 1 minute squat. So every single day I was working on muscle. And it was the first time in my life that I started seeing changes. I didn't even
Hmm.
think that was possible. But then I kind of stopped doing that because I heard people saying that we only need to do 30 minutes a day. 2 days a week, and anything more than that, your body doesn't have time to heal. And so it's useless. So I cut some. Now I've seen no change. So I'm just wondering,
So
you
what do
probably
you?
have
So
a
well
different
here.
program for each
Yeah.
person, but could you go into why maybe some people will see results after 30 minutes and some people it can it take some people 5 days a week?
What is your experience? From what it sounds like your experience is you were doing a certain thing and then you reduced and then you stopped seeing results,
Mhm.
right? So my program is what do we need to do to get you to see results and then keep doing that.
So for
It's that
some
simple.
people, that
It's
might
that
be
simple.
30 minutes.
Rarely. So here's the thing. The 30 minutes a day thing sells books, and it's great for the specific subset of people who are at a level where they're maintaining and they're super busy. If you
And you
can
want to
only
get them
do
moving.
if you can only do 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week, because you got a bunch of stuff going on and you're not trying to make huge gains, yeah, that's all you can do. I'm at a point now, right? I've been training for 12 years. Okay. If I wanted to train for 30 minutes a week, I could completely maintain where I am for the rest of my life. I would be exactly where I am. All I would need to do is decide if I want to maintain, like, if I want to change body composition, that would be completely based on what I ate. I could work out 30 minutes a week and completely maintain exactly where I am. Muscle mass, strength, all that stuff. In order to improve, we need more. Okay. But we also need more rest. So if we increase our activity, we also need to make sure we're increasing our recovery. So there is a balance between the two. Anytime you have more of one than the other, or more than is needed than the other, then there's going to be either, and in most cases, either an underperforming progress and growth and strength and fitness, or you're going to overtrain yourself if you're getting too much work. So finding that balance is key. The idea that anybody is going to tell you or tell the masses that all you need is automatically negates anything they say after that. Okay. Any recommendations that are made to a general population without the evaluation at the individual context is completely useless. 100%. I don't care if you have a PhD, if you've been doing it for 80 years, you cannot say this is what's going to work for everyone. This is all anyone needs. Okay. It doesn't work that way. I may not need that because guess what? I may not be trying to maintain. I may be trying to decide, hey, you know what? I'm 52 years old. I haven't done anything crazy lately. I'm going to try to compete in a powerlifting competition. Well, guess what? I need to work out more than 30 minutes 3 times a week if I'm going to do that. And I got to get very focused and specific in the training that I do. Maybe it's not a powerlifting competition. Maybe I want to start doing obstacle course races. Well, I got a bunch of things I need to start learning then. I need to start learning all these different obstacles. How do I get through these obstacles? That's physically training. That's physical training. That's mental training. I need to start practicing. I need to start doing more training and getting ready for these events. So, there's a lot of stuff. And for most people, if you're just trying to improve your quality of life and do more stuff around your house, engage in your environment is one of my favorite phrases. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. Getting started at 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week might be a good thing to do if you're not doing anything. But at some point in time, you will definitely need more than that, right? Because there's a lot of different things that we train. And when it comes to fitness, and that's hard to get all that stuff in an hour and a half a week.
The Biggest Loser doctor, he had me doing 2 a days. So it was like an hour and a half in the morning and then an hour in the evening.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
enough
crazy.
rest? Because you were talking
No,
about rest. What do you mean by rest?
no, no. What I find a lot of people find a happy medium, and we'll just contextually, we'll just put this umbrella under most. Okay, so all of my clients are women over 40. So most of my clients fall into a 3 to 4 days a week, mostly strength training with a day of some kind of cardio, a day of some kind of mobility, and then a rest day. And that's kind of how things usually tend to work. The programs that I have different levels of different things. Some of them are 3 days a week. Some of them are up to 5 days a week. I don't expect most of the people that sign up for my programs to actually ever do a full 5 days a week because most of the people that are in my program have busy schedules and it usually works out to 3 or 4 days a week at the most. Every once in a while, I'll get someone that's gung ho that's like, I did all 5 days. What should I do tomorrow? It's like, take a rest, right? I only put 5 days in because you don't need more than 5 days, So the, the idea of rest and recovery, again, just like nutrition, when you get macros, what do? I'm going to set these macros. I'm going to do this for 6 to 8 weeks, see what happens. If the trend of my body composition or health changes in the way I want it to go, then I can probably stay on these macros and keep that trend going. If it starts going the opposite direction, then I need to start looking at making some changes to my macros or changing the food quality or taking something out, or I need to make a tweak, right? Fitness is the exact same way. I'm going to have here's this workout program. I'm going to go in and do everything I possibly can to implement and execute this workout program. If I work out a week and I do all 5 days of Coach Bronson's program and I feel like crap for 5 days afterwards, then I know 5 days is too much. So maybe let's next time let me do 4 days of it and then see if I can recover in those 2 or 3 days off and then start again. And maybe 4 days is something I can actually maintain without killing myself. Right. So it's in exercise science, we call it maximum recovery volume. How much work can you do without overextending yourself so that the next time you have to do the work, you can perform at the same or higher level, right? Because you don't build during exercise, you build during rest,
Oh, yeah.
right?
So cardio. I
Yeah.
used to be a runner,
Hmm.
and I recently switched to walking, and that
Okay.
feels so sustainable to me.
Sure.
But in my heart, is that real exercise?
No, it's better than nothing, but I would not, I mean, by the book definition, yes, it's exercise. From the purpose and intent, in most cases, it's not. And here's what I mean: the goal of fitness activities should be to improve fitness. Okay. So when we're talking about improving fitness, we're talking about 30 different aspects of how we define fitness. Okay. There's 10 different components of fitness: endurance, stamina, flexibility, strength, speed, power, accuracy, balance, coordination, all these different things. There are 7 different movement patterns: squatting, hinging, lunging, pushing, pulling, carrying, twisting, all these different things that our bodies actually do in motion. And then there's 3 pathways of how our body utilizes macros for energy. So we have 20 different ways that our body can, I said 30, I meant 20. 20 different ways that our body can do different things. If we are not intentionally trying to improve all 20 of those different things, then we are not focused on improving our fitness. We're just checking a box saying I did some kind of activity. So this is a trap where I get people that say all the time, "Well, I went out and I gardened today. That was my fitness for the day." That's what I call a demonstration of your fitness ability, but that is not fitness training, right? I went for a walk. I went for a hike. That was my fitness. Now, if you went for that hike and you tried to, you haven't been on a hike in 10 years, then yeah, maybe that's something you could say, that's definitely was my fitness today. I pushed myself. It was a challenge. I didn't think I could do it, right? That's something different. But if you walk around the block every day just to get your 10,000 steps, that's not fitness.
Okay,
So
so,
yeah,
like,
so
what kind of cardio then should people be doing?
move weights fast.
Move weights fast. Like like I could take my walk with the
No,
weights in
no,
my arm? Like, if I'm
no.
pushing a
So
stroller, does that count?
it could, if you're pushing it uphill, that's great. It's even better. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying cardio is not something that you should be doing, but you should be doing it with the intent of getting better at it, not just doing it to check a box. Okay.
It
So,
does seem like I could walk 20 miles.
right. So it's probably time to scale that up and progress that a little bit. Right. So you can, if you're going, how far, like how much are you walking? You're walking every day?
Yeah, like 5 to 10 miles a day.
Oh,
Pushing a
yeah.
stroller, uphill
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay. So put a backpack on, put 10
Oh,
pounds in it.
yeah, I
Right?
could do that.
Get a
Yeah,
dumbbell and put it at the bottom of the stroller. So you have a
I
little
do
extra
push a
weight for
5
your
and
up
a
for those
2-year-old. I've
uphills,
gotten good at it.
right? So I mean, there's things you can do, right? If you feel like you can walk, if you're doing 5 to 10 miles a day, that is your body has adapted. You've been doing that for a long time.
A
Your
year,
body
yeah.
has adapted to that. It's not getting any more benefit from that at this point, right? So
Dang
what you
it.
could do now, here's the thing: are you doing that every day and exercise and lifting weights, or did you
I'll
stop?
do
You
that,
said you
like,
stopped
2
lifting
days
weights,
a
right?
week, and then, my weights is, let's say, 40 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. And like I said, since dropping the 5 days a week, I haven't seen any change
Right.
whatsoever.
So I don't know if I would walk 5 to 10 miles a day. That sounds like maybe a 2 or 3 days a week thing at the most. And
It just
then
feels
replace the
so
other.
good. There's a
Well,
reason. It's also the
yeah,
fresh air, the sun, getting
yeah,
my
right.
kids out, the
So how long does
lymphatic
how long does that take
movement.
you?
2 hours.
That's so much time.
I know,
right?
which
Why
means that it's probably not very sustainable, even though I've been doing it for
Yeah.
about a year.
Yeah, well, how old are your kids?
2, 5, 11, and 12.
Yeah, I mean, as they get older and start taking part in other activities and start doing more things, I don't know, I mean, I would dabble around, especially if you're already saying that when you stop doing the strength training, you stop seeing as much progress, right? I would swap out some of those days of walking with getting back into the actual strength training
Mm,
and doing that more often. And again, I would also look at taking at least 2 days a week off. Whether it's, like
interesting.
the way I do it is I do 3 days of exercise with a day off and then 3 days I do 3 off, 3 on, 1 off.
Okay.
So every 4th day is a rest day for me. That's how I do it to maintain. So I think that's a really good schedule. I also like some of my programs are like the 3-day a week programs are every other day with 2 days on the end. So it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of thing. Some of
Yep.
them I just have Monday through Friday scheduled, but they're adjustable. So if you want to do the first 2 days and take a break, or do the first 3 days and take a break, you can do that. Or if you want to do all 5 days and then you take 2 days off, however you want to do it. But I try to always program at least 2 days a week of rest and recovery somewhere in there.
So while you're at it, could you tell us some of the programs that you offer on your website?
Oh my gosh, sure. My most popular one, I got 2 really popular ones right now. The first one is Muscle Mommies, which is a strength training program designed specifically for women over 40. It is designed to be done in a gym with equipment. So it's flexible. There's a lot of options in there. If you have maybe your equipment's not available because somebody's on it, you can just go in the chat. So there's access to me, my coaches. There's a whole community in there. You can say, "Hey guys, I tried to get on the leg press and it was full. There were people in line for it. What do I do instead?" And we can give you options for different things to do. There's videos, instructions, all that stuff is there. That's a monthly subscription. It's $45 a month. You get 5 workouts a week. And again, you get all the support. We do movement review. If you're not sure if you're doing a movement correctly, you can send a video in and we'll say, hey, here's some tips. Here's some things you can do. We have people do that all the time, right? To make sure they're getting the most out of it. So
That's
it's
crazy.
like
I've seen apps more expensive than that.
yeah,
That's
it's a
amazing.
blast. It's a blast. We get that community aspect. I really like so I've run challenges over the years. I've done a lot of one-on-one training. And the one-on-one training for many people is too expensive. And the
Mhm.
challenges for many people is too short term. But they love the community, they love the competition, they love the engagement, they love all that stuff about doing challenges. So I wanted to see how can I bring the two of these things together. So the Muscle Mommies program is kind of that group community feel, but you get that one program that's just for you that you can do on your own time at your gym, do whatever you want to do. But you're also getting access to a coach, you're getting access to feedback, you're getting access to other people that are doing it, all those types of things. And then there's my F2 boot camp, which is kind of that on the next level, where in the boot camp, you get access to any of my fitness programs. I have a beginner program, an intermediate program, a functional fitness program. I have a lean gains program. I have muscle mommies, all those things you kind of get access to. And you get access to weekly feedback with the coach. So you get macro, you get nutrition planning, you get support. We have monthly meetings. We have a bunch of things that we do there that are specifically just for boot campers to kind of come in and say, let's give you not just the challenge feel of doing stuff with a bunch of other people, but one-on-one direction. So every week we can help you stay on track and work through some of the mindset stuff. Again, that's most of where our work comes from. The fitness and the nutrition stuff is easy. Here's your macros, pick a workout plan, have a blast. Now, why aren't you doing it consistently? Why did you cave this week? Why didn't you follow your macros this week? What's going on? You're going on vacation. How can we prepare you for that vacation? Right? Those are the types of things that we do in our coaching with that. So those are probably the two big ones.
Um, let me see here. Okay, I think this is my last question. I could
Okay,
actually keep you all day long, but
let's do it.
I've
I got
seen
time.
I've seen a lot of people, they maybe are carnivore, keto, and then they want to recomp their body, and
Mhm.
they're being told by their coaches that they need carbs. And so I see these people adding fruits, vegetables, rice. Do we need carbs to build muscle?
Oh, absolutely not.
Why are they being told that? Just because that's just the general American
Because that's
message?
yeah, because that's the message. Because gosh, I don't even know. Honestly, I'm at this point, I don't even know why because the science is so clear. It really makes absolutely no sense to me. I think people are just so entrenched in the message that they don't want to acknowledge that they might have been taught wrong. I really don't know. I was taught all the same stuff that a lot of these other people were, and then I experienced for myself, hey, wait a second, I'm building muscle and I'm not eating carbs. What the hell? And then you look into the research and you realize, oh yeah, you don't need carbs. Carbs don't play into the muscle building process on any level. So I don't understand where that comes from. Now, and terminology, wording, context matters. We get on the flip side of things when we are telling people all the time you don't need carbs. That's also not true technically. Our body does need glycogen. Glycogen is a substrate that our bodies utilize to make ATP to make our muscles move. Okay. That doesn't mean we have to eat carbs to get it. So the real statement should be you don't need to eat carbs to build muscle
Because our body will.
because our body can create glycogen when it's needed. So that's that nuance of the discussion, right? So I can see from the traditional side looking in saying, well, there, glycogen plays a role in all these different things from an energy perspective, which it does, but it doesn't mean we have to eat carbs to get it. So, it's one of those things, right? It's like um, you see people in studies saying the ketogenic diet decreases longevity. Well, they did a test in mice using seed oils as the fat source and then wondered why all the mice died, right? Technically, that was a ketogenic diet because it was a
Yeah.
high fat, low carb diet. But was it really, right? So it's those types of delineations and nuance in the wording and the context of how we're saying things and what we're actually meaning. I really wish social media didn't exist because everything is sensationalized and nobody's actually saying what they really mean,
Like,
you
eat a
know?
stick of butter. That's not what
Yeah.
anybody meant. They meant
Well,
eat animal fat.
yes, but unfortunately, there are actually people right now who are saying that's what you should be doing. That's a whole nother discussion. Um,
I do
yeah.
know. I used to be a half marathon and a full marathon runner, and I used to
Mhm.
take those glycogen, the
Yep.
pouches, the drops, and I would feel like absolute garbage an hour later, and then I would need more, and then I'd feel like garbage an hour later, and I would need more. And I see this now when I'm doing the races. They have these stands like every 2 miles for everybody to
Yep.
sugar up. And here I am, like, I feel great. I don't need to eat anything. Could you give me some salt water that's at room temperature?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like the science is out there. Science has been out there since hold on. When did this book come out? It came out. The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Performance came out in, let's see if we can open this up. In 8. No.
2008.
This one's no 2012. 2012. So 10 years ago, Jeff Volek and Steve Finney, right? And they actually started publishing some of the content in this that's in this book earlier than this. But this book, if anybody hasn't read this book, The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Performance, this is the first major book on endurance athletes and the ketogenic diet, being fat adapted for endurance. Everything works better on fat.
You feel better.
So, yeah.
Dr. Huizenga from The Biggest Loser, he even in 2005 or 2006, whatever year it was that we did that,
Hmm.
he told us, he said, "You can't just eat plants." And he said he had patients that were having heart attacks because of plant fat clogging their arteries.
Hmm.
What he didn't say was seed oils and because I think it's probably not from people eating too much spinach, that causes other issues, but
Hmm.
it was probably actually from the vegetable oils, and he knew
Yes.
that years and years and years ago, and how that doesn't come out. And he told us
Hmm.
we needed to eat meat. So it's
Yeah.
been kinda known by some people
It's been
for
known, and it's yeah, and I was actually just yesterday doing some research for another paper book. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. I'm just trying to gather a bunch of information. I can't stop writing.
book number 4.
Um, yeah, possibly either that or a paper. I'm not sure yet on understanding ketone metabolism and exercise and looking at the number of papers and studies that are out there that talk about how ketones being a fuel source reduces the utilization of glycogen, reduces oxidative stress, reduces the breakdown of proteins, increases muscle protein synthesis. And there's like three or four other things. Like the list of all of the benefits of exercising with ketones being the primary fuel source is like ridiculous. And it's documented. I don't understand how anybody is refuting any of this. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So it is what it is.
Well, you've got another book coming out. You've got 3 books. You're speaking at all kinds of conferences. Are you gonna speak at Low Carb Cruise, or are you just
Yeah,
attending?
we're speaking. Yep, we're speaking. We
St.
speak.
Louis,
This
okay.
will be our third year. I'm speaking this year. Nat's speaking, and then next year in Alaska, well, I think we're speaking together.
I'll see you there,
So
and I'll also see
yeah,
you at, Keto Palooza, where you're also speaking, and then, of course, we'll keep up with you on your YouTube
yeah.
channel. You're such a busy guy. I really appreciate you giving me this time. Time is a commodity, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It really means a
Well,
lot to me that you would do this, and, thank you so much for being on my show. Did I miss anything important?
oh my gosh, no, this is fantastic. If you ever want me to do it again, just let me know.
Thank you.